Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome to this tutorial on getting started with HTML, which is basically a tool that helps us create websites or web applications, as it helps us organize the different pages and basically add a bunch of cool elements to our websites or web applications. So the first thing that we need to do to be able to get started with HTML is use a code editor where we can actually type our code. So I recommend something known as Visual Studio Code, as it's completely free and it's really easy to use. So just search up Visual Studio Code in your browser, then click on the download link, and then based on your computer, you guys can just go ahead and download Visual Studio Code. So once you have it downloaded, just open it up, and you guys should come to a screen that looks like this. So basically, almost every project you make will be inside a folder, as it's easy to organize your things that way. So let's make a new folder. Let's call it first HTML. You guys can call it anything you really want, and then go ahead and drag this folder inside VS Code. Now, what we need is obviously an HTML file. So to do that, name your file whatever you want to name it. Generally, the convention is to name it index, so you can go ahead and type that, and then it has to end with .html since it is a file of type HTML. Then, basically, HTML is a tool that is made up of a bunch of different tags. So for example, at the start, we need something known as doc type HTML. This basically tells our web browser that our document is of type HTML, which it is. Second of all, we need something known as the HTML tag, as all of our HTML code goes inside of this HTML tag. Now, as you guys can see, the concept of tags is being shown here. So this is an opening tag and this is a closing tag. And mostly, any element will have an opening tag and a closing tag. However, this isn't always true, and I will give you guys an example of when this isn't true. Now, once we have our HTML tag, what we need is something known as a head tag, So, head. Now, a head tag basically encompasses all of the things that aren't in our general page. So for example, this icon right here, or the title, that's what goes inside the head tag. Secondly, we have something known as the body tag. So the body tag is what encompasses all of the normal elements on our screen. So if this text was an element, it would go inside our body tag. If this button right here was an element, it will go inside our body tag. Now, let's go ahead and first open up our HTML document. So all you guys have to do for that is go inside your folder and double click on that document. So as you guys can see here, we opened up our HTML document, and something you will notice is that the title of it is index.html, and that's actually the name of our file. So if we don't explicitly define a title, our web browser will go ahead and give our file's name as a default title. So let's say I wanted to add my title. It has to go inside the head tag, as I said. So just type title. And then normally, whatever text you want to put, it goes between the opening and closing tag. So let's say I wanted to title my page, my first HTML title. And then if I reload the screen, you guys can see that it changed. Now the title is my first HTML title, as it's defined here. Now, let's go ahead and add an image to our website. So this is an example of a tag that does not have an opening and closing tag. The image tag is simply defined as img, and once you define it, you don't need a closing tag like this. This is good enough. So for an image, obviously we need to let the computer know what image we want to load up, and that is done through the source attribute where we give it the URL of the image. So I recommend you guys go into your browser, find an image you like, and then drag it inside your folder. Then it will automatically come inside our folder in VS Code as well. Here it is. So if you want to make this image tag connect to this image, we go into the source and then we put something known as /, and then we can just click on this image. So // basically tells our computer to look inside this directory that it's already in. So since this image is inside this first HTML directory, this works perfectly. So if I load up my page, you guys can see that I have this image here. I chose this image because I thought it was funny, but you guys can really choose any image you want. Now, let's say I wanted to actually give a heading to my page before this image. we use something known as an H1 tag for a large heading. So this does have an opening and closing tag, and whatever text you want to put, you put inside the two tags. So let's say I wanted to put my first H1 heading, and then I reload the page, and here you see it. Now, our headings can be of various different sizes, so it goes all the way from H1 to H6, which H6 being the smallest heading tag. So let's say I typed in H6, and I called it my first H6 heading. You guys will see that it's visibly smaller. Here you go, it's much smaller than the H1 tag. So there's the heading tags. Now, let's say I wanted to add a button to my page. There is a button tag. So let's say I just had this. I don't define what the button actually says. Then I would simply get a button without any text inside of it. However, if I want to put text inside the button, I can type it here. So let's say click this button. If I reload the page, you guys can see that there was text inside this button. So hope you guys have enjoyed this really brief and simple tutorial on how to get started with HTML. If you guys want to go ahead and explore more tags, I would recommend this website known as W3 Schools, and go ahead and look for the HTML reference. So what this website basically has is that it has a lot of HTML tags that you guys can use. So you can go ahead and learn how to use specific tags. Any of them which interest you, you guys can go click on them and find out how they basically work. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the tutorial. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was easy to follow. Please give any feedback you guys have for me in the comments down below. I would really appreciate it if you guys subscribed and hit the like button. And in the next tutorial, I will tell you guys how you guys can go ahead and actually style this web page. As of now, it looks pretty basic. There isn't much color to it. It just looks quite default. And if you guys want to customize it, maybe make this a different color, maybe make the button a bit bigger, maybe move it a bit down. I will tell you guys how you can achieve all of this using a tool known as CSS. So if that interests you, please click on the next video. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one. Thank you.